go. Hi, everybody. Welcome. For those of you that don't know me and will see this later or coming in, my name is Cindi. I am at Simply Cindi. Thank you so much for joining. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my basket: hypnotherapy, herbalism, uh, any of the like Akashic records. I mean, I've got so many that I can't go over all of them every night, but just know that I have a lot of tools in my basket. I'm either certified, licensed, or I've got a degree, one of them. Anyway, astrology is my passion. I love astrology. And so I had been out of town. We hadn't got to do much. I have been, since I've been back, really digging into astrology again. I did a whole series of tarot because I used to do tarot. I had two other channels, Your Indigo Path and Indigo Tarot. I still have those channels. I just don't do anything with them. But I released all the videos Love Tarot from now till the end of the year. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for that. I don't know if the algorithm's not picking them up, but there's a lot of information in there. So tonight, because it's Sagittarius season, we talked about what was going to be going on in Sagittarius with Mercury retrograde, that's now retrograde, right? And then we have the other planets that are retrograde. Well, we also have a new moon on November 30th. So, again, it's not going to be like a normal new moon. I don't know if there are any normal ones lately, new moons, full moons. Or is it that I'm just seeing different things in the new moons and full moon? I'm not really sure. But for some reason, when I do a new moon, full moon, when I'm researching, looking at all the stuff, I'm like, this isn't normal. This is not like a normal new moon. Mm. So, on November 30th, which is just a couple days away, so you might start feeling it now. I usually feel it about 4 months, 4 days before, and up to 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. Yeah, it just kind of depends on your path that you'll feel the energies of this, right? We all know what a new moon is. That's new starts, that's new beginnings, that's new to the cycle. And this is the cycle of the month, right? This is like the new beginnings that could come up this month. But we have all these other layers of what's been going on, of new things that are happening per year, per hour, per decade. Like we have all these other layers going on. And that's kind of what I'm seeing in this new moon. I'm not seeing it as the major focal point. I am seeing it as part of the bigger story that's been going on for us. So I'm probably, yeah, what's normal anymore? It's true. So I'm gonna start you, um, yeah, I'm gonna start you in a very different way. Hey, Ellen. So with the new moon in Sagittarius, we're in Sag season. We have optimism, we have wisdom. I call him the great philosopher. He is my moon. Um, but the great thing about Sag, and you can kind of see when I look back at videos of mine, people ask me questions because I don't remember because I'm channeling. So I'll go back and look and I'll see myself laughing. And that's sort of the saggy part of me that's like, I see the um laughter in it. I see the joy in it. I see the optimism in it, and I see the almost childlike adventurous part of it, as I'm going through life, right? So when we're thinking about Sagittarius, that's what we're thinking of. He is the philosopher, he's the adventurer, he is the centaur, right? So if you look, so the way that I describe him is he's a centaur. So even though he has his bow up in the air and he's always trying to like figure out the higher mind, the higher wisdom, the higher philosophy, that's why I call him the great philosopher. He's got his hoofs on the ground, so he's very grounded. He brings that back with his arrow. He likes to bring it back. He brings For me, it's from other worlds into this dimension, concepts, ideas, understanding, growth, all of that. That to me is Sagittarius. Now, I know Sagittarius has many levels, they can be brats and we can get angry because we're a fire sign and all or my moon is, right? So all of that. But I kind of want to give you that like Sagittarius is very blunt, where Scorpio can be blunt and will tell you the truth and kind of throw daggers at you. And I'm not saying every Scorpio. I'm saying you can have that where you're like throwing daggers, you have ill will or ill intentions or like trying to get somebody back. I don't even know why I picked Scorpio. I just picked Scorpio. But Sag is more blunt where they I picked Scorpio because Scorpio will tell you the truth. But Scorpio may have that like an ill will or an ill intent or trying to get back at you for something, right? Where Sag is just blunt. Sag is just Sag will tell you the truth and not have that meaning behind it. Sag will tell you the truth because that's just the truth. But they're very blunt about it, right? They don't have filters. You ask them a question, they give you the answer, right? So it's almost like an innocence within them. I wouldn't say they're innocent. I would just say it's almost like an innocence. Like you asked me a question, I gave you the answer. Like, what do you want me to do? Sugarcoat it for you? Like that's a sad. What do you want me to do? Like now I gotta think about how I gotta give you the answer. That's a sad, right? That's a sad. He's not thinking about how to soften a blow or how to like make it better. He's just you asked the question, he gave you the answer. So Sagittarius can be that way, right? Um, but they're very adventurous. They're always searching, they're always looking, and they're very optimistic, right? When they're telling you the truth and you're asking, they're excited because you asked. Now they're going to tell you the truth because guess what? You're going to learn more. You're going to know more. You're going to be more. And that's exciting to a Sagittarian, right? So I'm just kind of getting you in the energy of Sagittarius. The other thing about Sagittarius is, yeah, I can say this. We don't take ourselves too seriously. Or we don't take life too seriously sometimes, right? That's a good and a bad thing. But a Sagittarius, like a wise, an old, a almost like a Sagittarius South Node. This is what a Sagittarius South Node is to me. It would be almost like almost, not all, but like Buddha when he was a child, right? That childlike innocence and laughter and joy and optimism, even though they know a lot about a lot and they've suffered a lot, right? So there's like this open heartedness, optimism, this joy that they have, almost childlike and adventurous, right? Because they want to know more. They want to know more. And the reason I'm bringing up that we sometimes don't take ourselves too seriously, because I'll have that fight in my head where like my Aquarius side is being too serious and my Sag is like, get over yourself. I do that. And see the laughter, that's like the sad side, right? So I'm bringing this up because there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of layers that are going to happen that I'm going to be showing you tonight. But I want you to remember to laugh, to enjoy. I think this part for us, what I'm getting is like, yes, you've already been through all the hard turmoil and you've learned and you've grown and you're wise and you're the philosopher, but laugh a little. If you don't understand the answer yet, it's okay. Relax, smile. Don't take yourself too seriously because when you enjoy and when you have joy and when you laugh, like two things. When you do that, sometimes all of a sudden you'll get the inspiration, right? Because you're in that space. The other part is that do you really I mean, I know that a lot of you have heard this saying is like, when I'm finally at the end and I'm on the other side. Y'all have heard me say this like years ago. This is the sad side. I always told people I've done a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. I've experienced a lot. I've lost a lot. I've done a lot. I've traveled a lot. I've done like all of that. And I've done that because I don't want to be on the other side and look at my life and say, I didn't do that. Because as a medium, what I used to get from the other side, I mean, I still get it, but what I got a lot from the other side, the advice that they would give us when we would ask for it, right? When clients would ask for it, the one thing that they say is, if I just wasn't afraid, if I just kept going, if I if I just laughed more. That's what they would say. That's what they would say. That's what they still say. It's like, I don't want to be on the other side thinking, I didn't do that because I was afraid. I didn't do that because I was afraid of what people thought, of not having any money, of not having a way, of not having the drive, of not having the knowledge, of not having, right? Like that fear gets in you. That's a Sagittarius. That's what I see. My side of the Sagittarius is like, I'm adventurous. Like I've told y'all, when I see Pluto, I jump. That's the Sagittarius part, right? It's like, I don't want to live my life and look back and say, I didn't do that because I didn't follow through, because I didn't keep going. It was right around the corner. My blessing was right around the corner. Or because I was afraid. I want to have enjoyed everything, right? Like I came here, hey, Tammy, I came here to have sugar. I want sugar. I want candy, right? Like there's things that I came here to do. I don't want to not do those things, right? Now, I'm telling you all of this because at some over these next couple of months, you might get a little confused. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I want you to remember the Sag side of you because everybody has Sag in them. Everybody has every sign in them. And I want you to just, if you can't find the way, relax. Laugh anyway. You don't want to be at the end of your life where you're like, oh my God. And trust me, I've had several lives like this, which is why I made myself a Gemini and a Sag. I've had several lives where I took myself too seriously. And I can tell my soul is like too serious. Why do you think I'm a Virgo South Node? Like everything has to be proper. I've learned to relax into my Pisces North Node, but I was so about my Virgo South Node for so long. And then going under, I've experienced different lives where I can tell it's my soul is like too strict, too proper, too aligned, right? So I'm saying all this because I want you guys to like get into the sad side. You don't want to be at the end of your life and be like, I didn't I didn't laugh. I took myself too seriously. Like I wasn't adventurous enough. I thought I had to have it all right and perfect. You don't. You don't. Life is messy sometimes, and that's part of it. Okay? So, over this next month, I want you to remember, don't take, if you cannot figure it out, if you are getting confused, we talked about this yesterday, but if you're getting confused, if you can't see the way, if it like the epiphany hasn't come yet, you're really trying, I want you to relax. I want you to get into that Saggy side. It's the Saggy season, Sagittarius season, right? It's the Sagittarius new moon. And even though this new moon, the new moon is the beginning of what's happening this month, there are bigger layers going on of what's happening this year, what's happening this decade, what's happening this phase for you guys, for all of us, right? So now we can get started. Thank you guys, everyone, for coming. Sagittarius new moon will be on November 30th at 9 degrees and 32 minutes. I was going to say seconds. At 9 degrees and 32 minutes. Okay. So, having said all of that, we know what a new moon is. It's the beginning of something, right? So, the energy there is to start. But before we talk about all of that, I want to take you back to the bigger picture, right? Uh, she, Tammy says, I need to borrow your robe tonight, Cindy. It is very chilly out here. You know what? It's like 38 degrees right here. I just realized like my hand was cold earlier. So it's cold over here too. I love it though. I am not complaining. I love it. And you can borrow my robe anytime. You can borrow my robe anytime. I'll stay in the chill part and you can borrow my robe. Okay. So 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 before we talk about like we know that what the new moon is, I've discussed what Saggy means, Sagittarius means. Of course, there's good sides and bad sides to every sign, lower octaves, higher octaves, more evolved, less evolved, whatever you want to call it. But in order to understand the new moon and what it's about, we're going to have to go back. Okay. So I want you to remember Uranus and Taurus. We've talked about Uranus and Taurus. I have a live on Uranus and Taurus. I have videos on Uranus and Taurus, right? Uranus and Taurus right now is retrograde. But if you remember from about February, March till October of this last year, Uranus in Taurus is trying to get us the stability of, uh, or the freedom to feel free, right? To feel free in the stabilities that we have been building, right? So from February, March till October of this year, Uranus and Jupiter, but Uranus mainly, was showing us what is possible for our dreams. Like we had dreamed them, we were thinking of them, but he was showing it. And he changed some stuff. He moved some stuff. Some of us had to like jump because of Pluto. Some of us had to jump because of Uranus. Some, but things were going back and forth, right? But we found some stability. Things started going our way. This was by the summer. It started going our way, and things were getting settled. We were learning to become stable on our own, right? Uranus was also showing us there's plenty of food, there's plenty of roofs over your head, there's plenty of stability to be had. Just don't fear. Okay. Again, this is Uranus, Jupiter, Pluto, but right now we're talking about Uranus, right? Uranus is the rebel, Uranus is the electricity, Uranus is his job is to get you freedom. His job is to get you to understand your freedom, that you are free. Okay. And if you're bogged down with anything, he will move it because he doesn't want you to feel that way. Right. But he's showing you in Taurus that there's plenty. There's plenty. There's plenty of food, plenty of luxury, plenty of dream, all of that. Right. So he was showing us several of our paths. Things were going our way. It wasn't a lot, it wasn't big. Some of it was a shock because we hadn't had any in so long, right? But it was like things were happening. Things were happening and they were becoming a little bit easier. But what we were doing was building our stability, building our foundations, right? After all the 16 years that Pluto was in Capricorn, right? And then Uranus and Taurus and and Jupiter was in there too. So we had a lot of like foundation to build on top of, but a foundation to make, right? And then when he went retrograde, this is what he's been asking us. Okay, now I've shown you what's possible. I've showed you several things that are possible. What do you want? You don't have to just take one. You can take as many as you want, but you got to show me what you want. I need to know what you want so that I can further help you get free in that stability, right? So, how do we do this? How do we show each of the planets? It's not by mouth. It's not by just thought, it's by action. It's by being that, right? And he'd already put us into the space of sort of being it. We just had to keep continuing it, right? We had Daddy Saturn involved. We just had to keep continuing it, right? And that's what's been going on right now, right? Up until now, he's in retrograde. He's like, which one do you want? And you don't have to just take one. You can take several, but you have to show me. You have to take some action. You have to do the work. You have to like focus in on that stuff, right? Of your dreams of what I've already shown you, right? So on this day, this is all going to come together, I promise. On this day, um, this is the 30th, he is, and it's all going to connect. He is trining Pluto and Aquarius, right? The future. Aquarius is the future. Trining what he's already shown you. Where do you want to go with this? But because Pluto is involved, Pluto's like, I need you to get obsessed. This is how you show me. I need you to get obsessed about your path. I need you to get obsessed about your dreams. I need you to get obsessed. I need you to whichever dreams you want. And again, you don't have to just pick one. You can pick several, but I need you to be obsessed about it. I need you to not be afraid just because Uranus is pulled back a little, Jupiter's pulled back a little, and you haven't gotten the big gifts that you were getting, or you feel like things may have started like slowing down. I still need you to keep it up. I need you to stand in your power. I need you to not be afraid. I need you to rebel against your own habits and mind. That's what I need you to do. That's what Pluto is asking you with Uranus, foundations, Pluto, the future with Aquarius. Okay. All this is going on this week, next week, and the next week. And it's going to continue. Okay. I'm just putting it all together, right? This is why I'm saying this is much bigger than the new moon in Sagittarius. The new moon is just asking you to really, I'll go over that in just a minute. Anyway, so this is going on this day, right? So he's not only he's not only trining Pluto, he's trining Venus too, right? So there's a little trine of Venus here going on. So he's like, Uranus is like, and that's Capricorn too. What is it that you want? What have you been working so hard with? Have you like are you feeling more free? Is this really is what's going on? Okay. Now, that trine with Uranus, I'm sorry, I wrote notes. So this is the overall theme that's like in the background of what this possible start could be, right? This is the bigger theme that's going on in your life, right? So the next part of the story of us is to look at Saturn. And where's Saturn? Saturn's right here, right? So Saturn in Pisces, and the reason I'm having you look at him because we talked about this yesterday, right? Some about this. So Saturn let me make sure I'm saying this right. Yeah, so this next part is Saturn. Saturn, why is it connected? It's because it's your dreams. Remember, Saturn in Pisces is like, it looks beautiful up here. There's lots of dreams in this dimension. There's lots of things that could be happening. And he's been talking to Uranus, right? And he's talking to this new moon. This is where it connects, right? So Uranus is trining Pluto. So there's something here as you step into your power, as you become obsessed, as you take the actions, as you move forward even though you're afraid, as you continue to do these dreams that Uranus was showing you. And he is talking to Saturn, and Saturn is saying, yeah, I see the dreams. The dreams are here. I've been testing them. They're bringing them down. I'm showing them how to do it. And Uranus is like, okay, as long as they're feeling free about this and not bonded, right? Not bogged down by this. And so as these dreams are coming to fruition, as you're taking action, as you're being tested, as you're becoming the authority, it's what's connected to this new moon, right? So, this new moon in Sagittarius at 9 degrees has something to do with the stability that you have been working on your path and the future with Pluto and the dreams coming through and taking the actions necessary, becoming the authority, being tested, doing the time, right? Because Sagittarius is such an optimistic and philosopher, that's why I'm saying if you don't see the way, if it gets really confusing, it's okay. It's okay. Relax. It's going to come. We talked about this yesterday. It's going to come. These new starts are going to be fine. If you start something and your heart is behind it and you're not in fear and it just happens to be, you come to find out that it's not the exact direction you want to go, it's okay. It's okay. Relax. Don't take yourself too seriously. This is Sagittarius. The one thing about Sagittarius and Jupiter, they have luck. So even if you accidentally take a wrong turn or don't do it right or feel like you could have done it better, you got luck on your side. So that's why I need you to relax, right? But when you're thinking about this new moon and how it all comes together, is um, I want you to be optimistic, but I want you to understand it's coming from this Saturn in Pisces, this Uranus and Taurus that you have been working hard on and saw proof of, right? Um, for it to come through. Now, remember, we talked about this Mercury retrograde. I don't feel like it will be completely resolved until January. Okay. December 21st, if you look at my yesterday's live, December 21st is when you get like the inspiration, right? But I don't feel like whatever this new start is going to be resolved or going to be like exactly that you know that you're going the right way until January, that first week in January. Okay. That's why I need y'all to relax. So through this new moon, make your starts, be the philosopher, be adventurous. You've already got a glimpse of what these paths of yours, what these dreams of yours are, right? You've already gotten a glimpse of that. And from February, March, all the way up until October, you already got glimpses of the way that your life can go. And it wasn't just one path, it was several, right? These are dreams that that Saturn has been working with you to bring down. Okay. So Saturn squaring the new moon, right? It's squaring here. It's squaring here, right? So that's why I'm saying you might get confused, you might not see it, but I want you to relax. I want you to be in that Saggy energy and know, I mean, Saggy's like, all right, so we started and it didn't work out. I'll just start again. Like that's, he's a philosopher. He's adventurous. He's optimistic. He knows that no matter what, we're going to get our dreams. We always do, right? If we go for them, we do get them. The problem with people not getting their dream is that they don't continue to go forward with it. They'll like leave it. They're too afraid. They won't make a step. They blah 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 blah. Right? That's different. Right? That's not Sagittarius. Sagittarius is like, whatever, I didn't do it right. So what? We'll just go this way, right? So remember, Saturn squaring the new moon, which is Saturn also over here squaring Jupiter, but he's talking to Uranus too, right? But Saturn square this Jupiter with Saturn squaring is like, Jupiter's like, and he's retrograde. I'm trying to make it bigger, but I'm not being allowed to right now. The energy is like restricted, which is Saturn is like, yeah, because they got to do the work, right? But Uranus is like, well, I can move stuff, right? And so with this new moon, squaring Saturn, we're talking about the high mind, the philosopher, the adventurer, the wisdom. And wisdom just comes. It comes by experience. It comes by all your losses. It comes like have more faith in yourself, right? And you know, Saturn, he's going to test you, right? He's going to say, did you really want that? Are you sure you want that? Are you sure? Because I'm going to make it just a little bit hard and see if you jump, right? Now, as the as this new moon squares Saturn, right? It's also going to be trining Mars. See? So we have Uranus involved, we have Saturn involved, we have the new moon involved, and now we have Mars involved, right? So we're Uranus and Pluto are trining, and these are squaring. Here's another trine, right? So here's a trine for you. The new moon and Mars, and this is Mars right before he goes into retrograde. Remember, he's going into retrograde, right? So he's going to help give you the inspiration. He's going to help because he's in Leo, open heart, warrior heart. I am brave. I'm courageous. I can do this. I don't even think about that I can do it. I just do it, right? And this is Sag, right? Adventurous, wisdom, optimism, lucky, right? So there's a trine going. So even though Saturn is going to make you work hard and test you, and even though Uranus can move shit, excuse me, stuff around, you have this warrior heart. You have this optimism with these two, which it's not just a regular trine. It could also, I mean, if you look at it, that's not the reason this is. I'm going to go ahead and say this because I saw this earlier. There's a there's a grand trine, a fire grand trine with the north node. Now, normally not a lot of people put the north node as a part of the trine, but I am because this north node is really important and has been important to us since April, right? So it started in March, February, March, and then April. We were talking about how everything, all these planets were going to go through this, through the portal, right? So with this grand trine, that's why I'm including the north node, and it's not a planet. Y'all know it's a point, but I feel like it's part of the energy of this fire grand trine, right? So what does that mean? That means action. That means we're moving forward. That means that it's going to be a thrust of it, right? Like it's exciting, it's adventurous, it's good, right? You're going to feel confused because of this Mercury, and we talked about the other yesterday, right? You may not get the inspiration till, I don't know, the 20th, the 21st of December, and it may not all be closed out until January, but that doesn't mean that we aren't getting gifts and progression forward. It just means the completions of that phase are not going to happen until January. Does that make sense? And all this has to do with this new moon, right? So if you look, it's this trine with the north node, and it's this grand trine here, right? So that would mean Leo, Mars and Leo, the North Node and Aries, and this new moon in Sagittarius. So there is energy for us to move forward, for us to progress, for exciting things to happen. You just need to be a part of that energy. And a part of that energy is to be like Sagittarius. It's Sagittarian energy right now. Is to be optimistic, is to be the philosopher, is to have the wisdom, is to know that timing is everything, right? And even though we may not know the exact time, that if something is not working, then you're like, all right, it's not working. I'll just move this way. And then if that doesn't work, I'll move back this way. And then if that doesn't work, I'll adjust again, right? So I hope that makes sense to everybody. You are going to have some new starts, but again, there's bigger layers going on, and it started in February, really January, but we're about to end the year. It's a whole year. Remember, this is the whole month for New Year for the new moon, but we've got a whole year. We've got like decades, 12 years, 15 years, 16 years. We're dealing with endings and new beginnings. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you for coming in tonight. Class dismissed. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.